So let's start with some jumping jacks here. So you can go fast, you can tap it out and go nice and slow here. Either one works, but what we want to think about doing is making yourself as big as possible. Like you're in the forest meeting a bear. You're not going to be here. We need to make ourselves nice and big. So really reach those fingers far apart from each other. Make sure those elbows are straight. You're controlling the turnaround with the arms. Our goal here is just getting that blood flowing, the heart pumping. Good. And let's switch into our steel jacks now. So forward and backwards with the legs, with the arms, same thing with the legs. And you're really feeling that stretch across the chest as your arms go backwards. Good. Nice big deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Remember, you're meeting a bear. We don't want to be here. We want to be big. Good. We have 10 seconds left here. 3, 2, 1. Relax those arms. Next, we're going to go into a knee drive here. So driving that knee up, pulling the knee into the chest. You can reach around the knee or you can grab the back of the thigh and pull up. We're going to be doing 3 exercises for 30 seconds each. Once we finish the third, we're going to go straight back to this first one here for 20 seconds, but we're going to increase the tempo. So we're going to go through all 3 exercises 3 times, 30 seconds the first round, 20 seconds the second round, and 10 seconds the final round. Let's switch into our butt kick. If you like, you can go slow and really pull that ankle in, keeping in mind that you need to find 2 more speeds after wherever you are. And if all you're doing is flicking those heels up, keeping the knees pointed down, that is good. We're looking for that stretch through the front of the leg here. And our third one, we're going to go into a nice long lunge position here. And we're going to skate down to one side and back to the other. Chest stays up, sending those hips backwards, feeling the stretch along that inside of the leg on the straight side. If you're feeling really good, you can stay low and skate from one side to the other. In 10 seconds, we're going back to our knee drive, but we're going to up the pace a little bit. So 3, 2, 1, come back up to our knee drive. Needs to be a little bit faster without sacrificing form. So we're not coming into here. We're staying tall, driving the knees up towards our chest. Keep the same tempo, and let's take it into our butt kicks now. So a little bit faster. You can take it up into that light jog if you like. Good. 5 seconds. We're going to go into our side lunge here, but we're going to be stepping out into it. So step together and out to the side. Together, out to the side. Chest stays up, hips go back. Good. All right, we have 10 seconds of each coming up. These should be a sprint, starting with our high knees. My camera doesn't like that one. Clearly. Focus. Keep going. All right, butt kick. And last but not least, we go into full skaters here. Jumping from one side to the other. 3, 2, 1, relax. Nice big deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. We're going to slow it down now and get into our mobility. So if you'd like, through this next one, you are welcome to have a seat. You can kneel, you can stand, whatever is comfortable for you. We're going to start with some neck tilts, and we're following our breath as we do this. So we're going to start lifting the chin, looking back on our inhale. On our exhale, we're going to tuck our chin and look down. Making sure that I'm not rounding my entire back. Inhale, chin goes up. Exhale, chin goes down. Really feeling that stretch down the back of the neck. 3 more of these. Inhale. Exhale, chin goes down. Relax those shoulders a little bit farther away from the ears here if you can now. And last one here. Coming up to neutral, we're going to inhale as our ear goes to one shoulder. We're going to exhale as it goes off to the other side. Feeling that stretch down the side of the neck here. Inhale. And exhale. Really good time to notice if you find your head can go further to one side than the other. We'll point to some tightness in the neck. And if you're wondering if it's tied to your breath, try switching your inhale one way and exhale the other way. Bringing that head back to neutral, and we're going to roll our shoulders up towards the ears, back to pinching the shoulder blades together, pulling them down, and then around. Up, back, and back around. Crunching and cracking is okay as long as it's pain-free. We've got some cracking. I feel like you could have heard that one through the headphones. We've got about 30 more seconds here. Moving those arms and shoulders as much as you possibly can in this. Let's go ahead and switch directions. Up, round the shoulders forward. So you're getting into a bit of a stretch between the shoulder blades, and then pull them back and open the chest. So this is flexion of the shoulder, of our shoulders. Here's a little bit of extension. So flexion through the spine, and then pulling us into extension. Okay, last big circle here. We're going to get into some arm circles. So if you are in a short ceiling, you may need to either kneel or sit to find a little bit more space here. We're going to start with your palm facing you. This is just a single arm circle. Thumb pointing forward. You're going to lift your hand as far forward as you can. And you're going to feel at one point your arm just won't go any further. When you get to that point, you're going to flip your thumb down so your palm is pointing to the outside. And you'll feel that you have the range of motion now to go back and around. Once that arm gets to the back here, and we're going to turn that palm back around and continue. We're going to go 5 big, slow circles here, paying attention to where it is as you lift forward that you get stuck and you can't go further. Keeping as much space in that shoulder joint as possible. Good. You want to put your hand on your shoulder, so make sure you're not shrugging your shoulder. That's good. Down here so we can see. Up, out, and around. Now we're going to reverse that circle. So with the palm still facing you, thumbs pointing forward, we're now going to point backwards with the pinky as far as we can until we get stuck. Turn the palm to the outside, and then you're going to bring your arm all the way around. Don't forget to turn that palm back forward or towards your center line before you come around. Pinky back as far as you can. Then we twist, open, and bring that arm around. Back, open, and around. Last one. Switching it over to the other arm, we're going to go forward first. So palm pointing towards the inside, thumb comes up until it won't go any further. Turn the palm to the outside, Draw that circle all the way around. Palm finishing, pointing towards your inside. Up, out, and around. Imagine you have a piece of chalk in your hand. You're trying to draw a circle as big as you possibly can. Right, last one going this direction. And then we're going to switch it and reverse it. So palm facing inside. I'm going to go pinky back as far as I can. Open the palm to the side. And then we're going to come around. Pinky back. Open the palm all the way around. Good. One more here. Now let's see how this feels for some double circles. So we're going to start both palms pointing in. We're going to lift the thumbs up. When they can't go any further, turn the palms to the outside. Really big reach backwards. Feeling that stretch across the chest. We're doing about 5 per direction here. You know me with my chatting. I think this is number 5. Then reverse it. Pinkies go back. Turn the palms to the outside. Feel that stretch down the biceps. Come around like you're doing a big butterfly stroke. Slow and controlled. Pinkies back. Turn the palms out. Feel how that forces you to pinch your shoulder blades together as you come around. Last one. That's just a warm up for the swimming tomorrow. We're going to go ahead and make our way down to the floor with your strap that you have. Classic Sarah, I wore all black on my black mat, so I hope you can see. I'll make better color choices next time. All right, so you're going to put that band around your foot, around the ball of your foot. You're going to walk the knee out, and I want your tailbone to stay on the ground. We're going to lift our leg up and down 10 times, keeping that leg nice and straight. I don't care how high your leg comes up. I want you to feel this down the back of the leg. Now, if you're keeping your leg straight and you only feel the stretch behind the knee, you can go ahead and add a micro bend to that knee, but you're not allowed to let the tailbone lift up off the ground. That's going to help you feel it more in the belly of the muscle. So we're going up and down 10 times, looking for the position that gives us that greater stretch in the back of the leg. And then we're going to go out to the side once you've done 10. So from here, we're going to let that leg fall out to the side, making sure that the back of both hips stay on the ground. And then we're going to come back up. So this is targeting stretching down the inside of that leg that's moving. And we want to not roll our hips. Keep those hips square to the ceiling above you. So I find this easiest to hold the strap with the opposite hand of the leg it's around, which gives me that leverage to not roll my hips and still get a really good stretch. And last but not least on this leg, we're going to straighten the leg we're not using, and we're going to pull our foot across our body, trying to go all the way to the ground while keeping the shoulders on the ground. So your hips can lift here, but not your shoulders. And I'm a little limited on space, so going all the way down is difficult. Remember, you can keep that micro bend in the knee, but we're not allowed to pull our tailbone, curling it upwards. We need that nice neutral spine. And once you've done 10 up and down, 10 out to the side, and 10 across your body, you can go ahead and switch it over to the opposite leg and repeat. I'm gonna start straight up and down. My tailbone stays on the ground, and adjusting the band so it's right over the ball of the foot. That's gonna help you maintain a flex in the ankle and gonna give you a better stretch down the back of the leg. Noticing if one leg feels a little bit tighter than the other leg. Do you have a greater range of motion? Does it feel tighter? How are you noticing things different from one side to the other? So 10 up and down, and then 10 out to the side, and then 10 across our body. Last 10, I straighten the leg I'm not using. I pull my leg all the way across. Ideally, I would love to be able to get my foot to the ground, but I don't want to do that by lifting my shoulders. So this all has to be a rotation through that spine as the hips turn to the side. And as much as we're targeting the inside and outside of the legs as we go through the last two that we just did, you're still going to feel that stretch down the back of the leg because our hamstring muscles our fibers go many different directions. So we have to move in different directions to target all of them. And you might find that on some days, certain muscle fibers are tight, and other days it's different ones. Once you're finished with that, you can go ahead and put your band to the side. This is where you may be getting into needing the yoga blocks, so you can make sure that those are handy if you do need them. No rush, but when you are done, meet us on your back with both knees bent, feet flat on the ground. And we're going to do a really hard pelvic tilt. So that's lifting your pubic bone up towards your chin. You can also think of it as the motion of tucking your tail between the legs. The abs are going to engage there, maybe your glutes as well. And then we're going to lift our hips up, squeezing the bum, feeling the stretch in the front of the leg. So we're stretching our quads here. If this feels too easy or you're not getting a stretch, I want you to make sure that you have a pelvic tilt. So you're tilting your pubic bone up towards your chin to engage the abs, and then you're lifting up. Even though this is an easy position for me, I still feel the stretch when I give it a really hard pelvic tilt. But you can also take it up over to the knees, leaning back on the hands and extending the hips forward to get a greater stretch. There are a lot of in-betweens, those two positions. So from your back, you could lean back on tall yoga blocks would be the next easiest. And then you can slowly let those yoga blocks go lower until your hands reach the ground, which would be the greatest stretch. We're going to stay in whatever position feels good for you for another 30 seconds here. Regardless of where you're at, you're constantly thinking about maintaining the pelvic tilt. So pubic bone lifted towards chin or tail tucked between the legs and squeezing the bum to lift those hips. This is that first level of getting into those nice tight hip flexors here by opening up the quads. Last one. Good. All right, we're going to take this over to our knees here. So if it's really uncomfortable for you to be on your knee, you can do this through a stand. So our standing position would be here, but taking that back knee up off the ground. So notice how whether I'm on my knee or on my feet, my foot position doesn't change. I almost said my feet position doesn't change. So the cueing is the same regardless of what position you're in. We're going to start by pelvic tilting. So tuck the tail between your legs or lift the pubic bone up, same thing. We're going to drive our knee forward as we rotate, and you can use your hand on your knee for a little bit of leverage here. And then we're going to release and come back. So I tuck my tailbone, drive the knee forward as I stay tall and twist. You're going to feel that go into that hip flexor right here. We're going to do about 10 per side. Remember, you can do this from standing as well. Tuck that tailbone, drive the knee forward as I rotate. Actually, on this one, I feel like I'm getting a better stretch from my feet. So you can always try both and see which one feels better for you. The big thing with this one is that as we rotate, we're not rotating our hips. Our hips are staying straight forward, and we're rotating that upper body. Let's go ahead and switch it over to the opposite side. I'm going to stay up on my feet so I can get my position by creating that box on the ground and then straightening my legs. Tailbone tuck or pelvic lift. Drive the knee forward as we rotate over that front leg and release. Forward, rotate, release. After this, we're going into everybody's favorite 90-90. And I'm a little facetious when I say everybody's favorite. It's probably one of the more beneficial ones that we could be doing. You're on your feet, step that back foot forward, and then we make our way down to the ground. We live our life forward and backwards, not even really backwards that much, mostly forward. So any of this rotation side to side is always pretty tight. You're going to take your feet out in front of you so that you have enough room to let the legs fall to the side without your knee crossing over your heel. We're going to lean back on our hands. The farther back your hands are, the easier this is. And we're going to let our legs fall from one side to the other. So with this, as your legs fall to the left, your right leg goes into internal rotation. That's probably where it's the tightest. And I want you to spend a second or two in that position, enjoying it. There's a difference in good pain and bad pain. If you experience bad pain, you know what it is. Muscle tightness and soreness is that good pain that we're learning to push through. Good. So I want you to pick a side that you want to start on, and you're going to sit up nice and tall here. You can use your yoga block as well to help support yourself to make you sit up taller and take some of that pressure out of your hips. We're just going to rock forward and backwards here, trying your best to keep the knee in contact with the ground. Okay? You need to adjust that back leg at all to stop the cramping. Go ahead and do so. Our focus is on this front leg and on the outside of the hip and the glute here. My chest is pointing at my knee right now. And then we're going to change this a little bit. You're going to put one hand on your knee, pressing that knee down, and you're going to turn your chest towards your foot. And now we're going to rock forward and backwards towards our foot, trying to keep this knee down onto the ground, which might need you to hold it there. Spine stays really long. Let's lean back onto those hands. We're not lifting our feet up. We're rolling on our heels over to our other side. Sitting up really tall, using those yoga blocks to support you under your hands if you need to. And we're just rocking forward and backwards towards that front knee, which ideally would like it to be on the ground. But we can work towards that. Now you're going to put one hand on your knee to hold it there, turn your chest towards your foot, and we're going to go forward and backwards towards that foot. Like I said, we're not going too deep into these muscle groups today. Go ahead and lean back on those hands and shake your legs out. All we're doing, we're going to ease you back in that 90-90 position. Let's make our way over to our side. These are our last two exercises before we get into our activation here. So you're going to be in the fetal position on our side, lifting that top arm up and over into that open book. I'm bending my elbow because I'm short on space here. So you can bend your elbows here. So you're a bit more of a narrow book, but the hips are not allowed to roll. Inhale to close it up. Exhale as you open. Closing up that book again. Now this time we're going to take our hand, we're going to draw a nice big circle up above us all the way around, allowing the hips and the legs to rotate as much as they need to get the back of both shoulders on the ground. And then we close that back up. So very similar stretch. The difference here is that we're targeting more that mid to upper spine. And remember, if you want to take this into more the neck, shoulders, you can really focus on how far around you're reaching that hand. Good. Next time you close it back up, we're going to go ahead and switch ourselves over to the opposite side here, starting with our open book stretch. So that's where the legs are staying perfectly pointed to the side and lifting that top arm up and over. Because I'm short on space, I'm going to bend that elbow. Good. This is that mid to low back. Straighten the arms next time you close it up. We're going to walk those fingertips up above our head, all the way around us, trying to keep those fingertips on the ground and letting the legs roll enough as they need to get the back of both shoulders on the ground. And then we're going to close it back up. In a perfect world, we wouldn't need any rotation through the hips to get the back of the shoulders on the ground. But we know that we don't live in a perfect world. Well, we can dream about it. Last one all the way around.